Hi, AdiAsh73 here with part 5 of my crash time walkthrough. This time we're on to the case traffic control. This is case 3, so get the case screen up and start it on hard and you're ready to get going with the first case. Now this walkthrough covers cases 1 to 4. The remaining cases for this walkthrough can be found in part 6. This is a straightforward mission. All you have to do is follow the truck with the green arrow over it. It's not a very long mission and there's not too much to do or worry about.
Hello, please stop. Hey, this guy just carries on.
In that case, we'll have to stop him personally for a little chat.
Cobra 11 to HQ. A truck just ignored the signal. We're engaged in pursuit.
HQ to Cobra 11. Hurry, a traffic jam is reported right in front of you.
So as with all parts of my walkthrough, if you're stuck on a particular mission, by all means check out the description on the YouTube channel, and there you'll find a series of quick jumps through the video so you can just pick out the mission that you may be struggling with. That way you don't need to sit through and watch the entire video. We're playing on the hard difficulty because on the hard difficulty you'll also unlock the achievements for playing on the normal and easy difficulty, so you can unlock all 3 achievements in one go rather than having to play through the career 3 times. Nearly at the end of this mission now. Very straightforward, just another follow mission. You've probably played quite a few of these already. And there we are, mission's over. So here we are, we're into mission 2 of traffic control, and this one is a simple straightforward checkpoint race where you need to pass through 8 of the blue checkpoints and reach the destination on time. So with this mission there isn't a white route indicator, you only have the yellow GPS arrow. So with all this type of mission, as I've said before, it can be a little bit tricky to know where you've got to go exactly, but it's not too bad. There are definitely worse missions out there. Again, during this mission I take the opportunity of trying to hit as many of the little smashable posts on the side of the road as possible, and that's all working towards the crash drive achievement, which requires you to hit 1,000 of those. So my advice, as I've said throughout the walkthrough, is just to pick them up where you can. 1,000 isn't a huge number, but it does take a little while. I did manage to pop that achievement during this case, and that's shown in the next part of this walkthrough, part 6. A bit clumsy there. That's the thing with these videos, I do make mistakes, but I'll always include the footage where I can complete the mission on there, so you will see me make quite a few mistakes. I often clip cars or don't take corners very tidy, and I might not be the most stylish driver in the world, but I will get the job done, and hopefully on these walkthroughs you'll see the most effective way to get the missions done. So again, you should be quite familiar with this section of road coming up. Probably have driven on this quite a few times as you progress through the game. That corner always caused me a problem. Quite often I'd have a head on there because I'd always try and cut it a bit fine. And this is another corner that can catch you out if you're not careful. The time constraint on this challenge isn't too difficult. As long as you're relatively clean, you should be fine. We're approaching the end of the mission now, so it's just at the end of this straight. It do need to be aware of where you're going, because you can lose time. So again, very clumsy. It's always hard to see through the blue checkpoints, but coming up here, you want to keep an eye on the right hand side. Easy to miss these little bits when they're on the side like that. And there we are, stopping the mission with plenty of time left. That's it, mission over. And here we are into mission 3 of traffic control, which is the third case. Now, as you can see, this one requires you to drive in the truck. I've kept this walkthrough in chase cam mode. Driving the vehicles, or this particular vehicle, the lorry, in the chase cam isn't the easiest in the world. You can, if you want, go to the option screen and choose a different camera mode. You could, for example, put it on chase 2, just so you get a bit more of a top-down type of view. But for me, I just went through on this view because I always race in chase view, or 99% of the time anyway, and I saw no reason to change it for this mission. So this is a checkpoint type race. Again, as with most of these checkpoint type races where you haven't got the white route indicator, knowing exactly where you've got to go can be a bit tricky, but if you follow the route that I show you, you should get to all of the checkpoints in plenty of time, even if you have a few mishaps along the way. One of the advantages of driving in the truck or the lorry is that it is strong enough to be able to just crash through other cars, so they don't really present too much of an obstacle. But what I did find, particularly in the later missions, is that if you try and stop a bit too fast, then it will just jackknife on you straight away, and that does lose you a bit of time. But for this mission, there are only a couple of sections where you're required to slow right down and sort of do a 180, and you'll see those as we get through it. So you'd imagine that there the trailer would want to topple over, but it didn't. You will see another example of that getting really snaky on me a little bit later. So here we are, the trailer's got a real wobble on. It doesn't roll over. I was expecting it to sort of roll right over and flip me on my side, but I just kept my foot down and kept going, and it sort of corrected itself, as you can see. But if that does roll over on you, you might need to restart. All depends how much time you lose. So after this checkpoint, you need to do quite a turn, so don't go too fast into this one. I was probably going a bit fast there. And again, with this next checkpoint, don't hit it too quickly, because you do need to take the right. So I was a bit over speed, just had to correct myself. Just lost me a little bit of time, but nothing too much. Because I'd retried this mission a couple of times, I knew roughly where I was going, so I didn't have that whole have to search the next one out problem, which often happens. Coming to the end now. A little bit tight this bit. You can just see the red coming into view. And as always, stop in the checkpoint for the mission to finish. And that's it, the mission completed. And here we are, we're into mission 4 of traffic control, case 3. This is the last mission shown on this part of the walkthrough. Now I would say that this mission did take me a couple of attempts. Again, it's one of these checkpoint races where you've got to get through the checkpoints. And on this one you also need to do 4 jumps. Now there's a section a bit further on where I really made a couple of big mistakes a couple of times. But you should see, well, I'll point those out to you as we get to it. Now, as you can see on the lower right hand side, you've got the orange bar. That's the boost bar, and that's the first opportunity you have in the game to have the boost. Here I'm firing it off. I get up to over 280 kilometers. I hold it for 5 seconds and pop the faster achievement. You've got the jump sections here. Obviously try and hit the green. Don't worry too much if you don't. And on this jump, if you don't manage to get a perfect, as you can see I don't, that still should net you 3 of the 4 jumps. You've got one more jump coming up at the end of this section, and this is the jump that I made a few mistakes on. So when you're coming up to this one, just be aware of it and do try and hit the speed perfectly. A couple of times I undercooked it and ended up hitting the embankment. So that time made it okay, gave me the 4 of 4 jumps required. Just 2 more checkpoints to go, plenty of time to get to those. The next one's just round the final corner. You should know this bit now from previous missions. And there we are, plenty of time left over and all the requirements met. I hope you found this walkthrough helpful. By all means, check out my channel for more walkthroughs, solutions and vlogs. Thanks for watching and listening. Take care and bye bye.